You know, watching your cat grow old is one of those things that's both beautiful and a little heartbreaking, right? They start to slow down, they need a bit more from us, but they also give us this incredible, quiet companionship. So let's talk about how we can make these golden years their absolute best.
And that quote really gets to the heart of it all. This isn't about what we're losing, it's about adapting. It's our turn to give back all that loyalty with a little extra patience, a little more care, and really trying to understand what they need from us now. So, when is a cat officially a senior citizen anyway? Well, you might be surprised that it's not really about the number of candles on their birthday cake. It's more about how they're getting around in their world day to day. And this is a really important distinction. Yeah, we can say 11 plus years is the general rule of thumb. But the real clues, they're functional. Have you noticed them hesitating before that jump up to the sofa? Do they seem a little stiff when they first get up from a nap? Those are the real signals that it's time to start thinking about senior care. Okay, so once we spot those signs, we can actually step in and make some simple changes that have a huge impact. Seriously, a few tweaks to what they eat and how their home is set up can make a world of difference for their comfort. Look, if there is one single change you make, please let it be this: switch to wet food. It's loaded with moisture, which is so important for aging kidneys. I read this story about a foster cat named Mister, who was lethargic, his coat was a mess, and in just 3 weeks on wet food, he was playful and sleek. It's that powerful. And don't sleep on those supplements either. Glucosamine and omega-3s can give them real relief from achy arthritic joints. Just as critical as their diet is their space. It's all about accessibility. A litter box with a lower entrance can be a total game changer for a cat who's feeling stiff. A little ramp up to their favorite sunny spot by the window, a heated bed. These aren't just luxuries, they're essential for keeping them happy and living a good life. Now, here's one of the biggest challenges we face as cat owners. Our cats are absolute masters at hiding when they're not feeling well. It's in their DNA. That means we have to become part-time detectives, always watching for those tiny little clues that something's off. Let's take chronic kidney disease. A staggering 1 in 3 cats over 10 is affected by this. Think about that. And the first signs are so subtle. Maybe they're just visiting the water bowl a little more often. This is exactly why those twice-a-year vet visits with blood work are non-negotiable for senior cats. Catching this early is everything. And then there's hyperthyroidism, which can be so confusing. You might see your cat eating like a horse, but somehow still losing weight. They might even seem weirdly hyper. It feels contradictory, right? But those are the classic signs of an overactive thyroid. And the good news is, it's another very common and very treatable condition. But here's the problem. Because these changes happen so slowly, so gradually, our eyes just get used to them. We might not even consciously realize our cat is a little thinner than they were last month. So how on earth do you spot something that's happening in slow motion? With this, it's such a simple but brilliant idea, the photo tracking method. I'm serious, give this a try. There's this great story about a foster cat, Shadow, whose owner caught his hyperthyroidism super early because the weekly photos showed a slow weight loss that she just hadn't seen with her own eyes day to day. The camera doesn't lie, and it can be an amazing tool. Okay, this brings us to the hardest part, and there's just no way around it. Talking about the end is never easy, but if we can try to reframe it, to see it as our final, most important act of love, it can help us face it with compassion instead of just fear. This is the question, isn't it? The one that weighs so heavily on your heart. It feels so huge, so emotional, and it's wrapped up in so much guilt and doubt. But there are ways, there are tools to help us find a little bit of clarity, to move from just emotion to compassionate observation. This checklist is a great place to start. It helps you step back and really look at the situation as a loving observer. Is their pain truly under control? Can they still do the basic things that make them a cat with dignity? And that last question is the big one, the really tough one. Are the bad days starting to outnumber the good ones? And this draws a really important line in the sand. The decision has to be about them and their suffering. Unmanageable pain, no hope of getting better, those are selfless, compassionate reasons. Things like moving or because it's expensive, those are about us. And in those cases, we need to look at other options, not euthanasia. I want you to really let this one sink in. This is the ultimate gut check question. At a certain point, We can cross a line from helping them live to just prolonging their suffering because we're not ready to let go. Asking yourself this question, as honestly as you can, is how you make a choice that comes from a place of pure love.
A lot of the fear that comes with this decision is just the fear of the unknown. So let's just gently walk through what actually happens. Because knowing what to expect can bring a little bit of peace to a very, very hard day.
The most important thing to know is that it is a gentle process. It always starts with a sedative so they're calm and relaxed and not anxious at all. The final medication is really just an overdose of anesthesia. They just drift into a very deep sleep, and then their heart stops. It is peaceful, and it is painless. And your presence, your voice, your touch, you are their whole world. Being there is the last, most beautiful gift you can give them. Let's end on this thought, because it's so true. Making this decision will break your heart, but it comes from the deepest place of love you have. It is the very last promise we keep to these amazing friends who have given us so much, the promise to not let them suffer. And that is a profound and beautiful act of love.